Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to the first episode in ProCipher, presenting to you a series of videos based on the professional skill set. Each one of these in mind is going to give you a particular task, a particular challenge, in order to give you a particular skill, something that you can take away and implement into your everyday lives, whatever vocation or role it is that you have. This comes directly from the courses that we run here at ProCipher, namely from our polar professional outlook in terms of aiding people to observe and rationally break down all of the information that it is that they're seeing on a day-to-day basis. Today, we're going to take a look at people, which should ultimately tell you what the P in polar stands for. You will have to follow along in the series, though, to find out what the rest of them are in order to truly understand how the polar view set can aid you. And we're going to look to understand how this can be based within our understanding of people and the differing roles that they have with any given situation, moment, or environment. That right, Jim?
100% correct, Ben. And we really hope that you guys can take something out of this. Our goal ultimately is to keep these to 15-minute segments. So it's something that you can grab and go and pull from these things and be able to apply them when you get done listening and build upon these as you learn the rest of the letters and various other skills we're going to bring to this, or what we're trying to bring as a professional skill set, just to kind of give you just things to put in your toolbox and overall make you all better human, because again, it's all about you, and it only is fitting the first letter is P with people. That's who we encounter the most.
Right.
So let's go ahead and just dive into this and then give them the first taste of how this looks and
Well, that's the thing. Like we look with the information that we're trying to bring to you to try and kick over a few rocks that most people don't tend to kick over. In order to truly understand what's going on within a particular situation. So when you look at every role that you might take within a day-to-day basis, I might now attribute my role en masse as a streamer. Right, that's what it might be under the mast heading off, but that also takes stock of security professional. It also takes care of coach. I'm also a father. I'm also a husband. I'm also a brother. I'm also a son. I'm also a friend. Right? And all of these differing roles that we have within any given moment can interact with one another in order to create these differing pockets of reality that these people get involved in. This husband over here might not like what he's observed within another husband over there because of what's being perceived within a group of friends over here. Whereas if you change husband over here to a brother, or a son, it might be an entirely different outcome. And if you think about how many roles you take on a day-to-day basis, that comes with differing processes of information, differing ways that you approach different environments based on what you're aware of as a result of the roles that you're in, and when and where you tend to transition between these roles, these various hats that you wear, right?
100%, right? And that was a ton of information for everyone listening, right? Because we can wear many, many hats. But what if we look at it and we try to simplify things a little bit? What if we try to look at things just from a broadening perspective of, we have a professional role, we have a personal role, and then there's this true self role, right? It falls in that very few get to experience. And if we're looking at the professional role, that could be you as a doctor, a CEO, right? A life coach, a podcaster. There's going to be certain things that we take in that are going to maybe emotionally trigger us, not emotionally trigger us, things that are going to affect us in one way or the other that differentiate when we're in that personal role of father, right, Ben? So we
Right.
may not respond the same way at our child's baseball game to a particular event as we would in the boardroom. And we need to understand that within these different roles, sometimes certain things have to give, right? For us to be fully immersed as dad and be
Yeah.
there for the kid and loving, right? We got to turn that CEO brain off, right? We can't treat our interaction with our child like we're running employees in a boardroom. We're not going to get out of it. So, what are some of those things that are going to get triggered, that are going to become lessened, right? If we look at things in the form of an equalizer, I like to say, because in order for us, we're never going to be really, really great at everything. We
No.
can have a balance, or we're going to be like really, really good here, but something's going to lack. And it's the way
Mm.
we are within our
A
roles.
level.
And when it comes to, from what I'm going to talk about more, that security minded mindset, right? It's entirely different, right? Mom in the house taking care of the kids is going to have a whole entire different feel than when mom packs the kids in the car and goes to the park. Why? Because there's potential of predators out there. Our child may run off, right? A lack of attentiveness can lead to something else. But what if we pick up the phone, even though it's our day off, and we answer a business call, right? How easily distracted are we? How easily can somebody influence or manipulate us too, depending on the role that we're in? Can we be pressured
Yeah.
depending on that role? Are you more pressured to do something with the family if you're in a mindset working as, the CEO?
Yeah.
Or
Yeah.
you're more pressured into going to get that ice cream with the kids and the family if you're in full on dad mode, and they really, really want it, but you've been so busy at the office. Now we might guilty parent or parent slightly differently, within there. And I think it's probably one of the most nuanced things that, even when it comes to training and learning, right, when it comes to receiving knowledge or training from a course, is what role are we in when we're in that student seat at that time too. I think will also allow to us, what are we willing to get to. So we got to put ourselves in the right mind, right mindset, which I
Mm.
like to get into stuff with that,
Mm.
in order to get the right outcome, right? Or choose the right weapon, so to speak, for that environment. It doesn't necessarily have to be a actual tool per se, right,
Yeah.
Ben? But it
Yeah.
could be just a change in our attitude, a change in how we observe
Mm.
what we can expect to encounter.
Yeah.
And I would be willing to bet that the role that we allow ourselves to occupy can be a big differentiator whether or not we are able to maintain a certain level of security and safety when traveling about.
100%. 100%. I mean, so say for example, you were out driving one night. You had to stop in at a gas station to get fuel. Right? What are the roles that you can expect to encounter? You've got the gas station attendant. You've got any local security that patrols the area nearby. You've got mothers, fathers, brothers, family members, other people on a commute. What are you there doing in that moment? Are you there as father? Are you there as the security professional? That will then inform you of the kinds of things you are likely to see. And that's an important distinction to make because we're not dealing with cause and effect humans, people. They don't behave like equations do. Just because you put a bunch of information in one side doesn't mean you're going to categorically get something out of the other. So, what is it that you're likely to encounter here that will inform you of some of the things that could happen, that you could prepare for based on the kind of roles and how they interact with one another? How would somebody drive onto a gas station forecourt? Would it be at speed? Would it be respectfully? Would it be diagonally? Would it be in reverse? Would it be from the clear entrance sign shaping up to go to the clear exit sign? That's not particularly observed in the UK. People tend to come at it from all angles. Right? So, what are some of the things that you're looking at in order to make sure that you and your party, whomever that be, whether it be by yourself or your principals, for example, you and your party are as protected in that environment as they could be? So, what are some of the things that you're noticing based on your role? Let's say, for example, let's say you are the gas station attendant. You're the guy that's currently in the office over here, looking out at the forecourt. What is it that the role that you have is allowing you to see that's happening out there?
Mhm. Exactly. What are some things that should be drawing your attention? We look for different things, or anyone that's done a situational awareness training of things there, we're told to look for anomalies, things
Mm.
that are either added to or taken away from a particular environment. So as Ben is saying, from that role, can we see anything here that's been added to? Is there anything that's missing? Are there some things going on with people as you guys are going through this video? I hope you're watching and go back and rewind it, because we want to see your comments down here below. Because this is going to be kind of your first look in things, and your perspective thing is one. Identify the role that we're giving you, which is the
Mm.
gas attendant. Look at it from there, what he should be experiencing. He's a night shift clerk. Look at around you, the surroundings. What are some things he should be expecting when it comes to encountering? What type of people are commonly coming in the evening time? What kind of behaviors are they exhibiting? Are some of them intoxicated? Are they drunk? Are they late night shift workers looking for snacks and breaks of that nature, right, Ben?
Mm.
And just watch these around and people around and like just start processing now. Then put yourself into a role that you would be in, as Ben was saying. Say this is the only gas station that's open that you can make it to, that you need to fill up at before you make it home. What should be going through our minds as we're looking and seeing what's happening here in this video in the background? What's drawing our attention? What should be maybe triggering us and putting a flag up, and how we would then, one, as we acknowledge other behaviors, how we then go on and work through our own behavior processes. What are we
Absolutely.
willing to do? And I like to look at this as, we should have some sort of a plan, right? And within a plan, we should have certain type of aids. So I like to use the acronym AID as avoid, escape, de-escalate, and engage.
Mm.
So as you just saw, there was a lot of chaos that probably just happened going on through here, right? Is there things that we could have done again to avoid it? Do we have to escape it? Depending on our role, if we're the gas attendant, do we need to de-escalate a situation, or do we maybe need to engage to protect ourselves and the lives of others? Overall, when it comes to the people, what can we validate, dismiss, or clarify from this overall observation of the people in it? And Ben, feel free to add away here as we're trying to keep this. We
Well,
just want to put
that's
these pieces in there for you guys to just start
100%.
processing.
Your role as the gas station attendant in this particular scenario should have alerted yourselves to the potentiality of something that is going on within that white car. Is there any way for you to have known categorically what would be about to unfurl? No, absolutely not. But what you can say based on your role, that there was an anomaly that occurred within that white car. As somebody who is coming onto the forecourt to fill up gas, that's a role that they have in that moment, which comes with a likely subset of behaviors, a likely subset of actions and tasks that they will carry out if their role is, as they present, as somebody who wants gas. And I'm not going to point out what that one thing would be. I'm curious to hear what you guys think it is, but there is one thing that could have alerted. There is a myriad of other things that happened afterwards, even before it all kicked off, to use the proverbial English phrase.
Mm.
But there is one thing that you can zero in on in terms of, I'm the gas station attendant. This doesn't belong on this forecourt. And that's where it starts, that simple acknowledgement that somebody is behaving outside of their expected role, right? If it was that your mother of God knows how many years, however old it is that you are when you're watching this, turned up and said to you, all right, bruv, that's not a very likely thing that happened within the role of mother, right? She would more than likely call you by your name in that particular situation. So the bruv, albeit one word, is something that is out of context with that role. And these are things that we can take stock of even when we're not in an environment like this. I never, at one stage in my life, really encountered what a graphic designer did until it came up on a case that I was given. I can, at that moment, I can inquire, what does a graphic designer do? What's their day-to-day business like? What are they expected to do? What kind of skills are they likely to have? And I can look into this to inform me about these roles. Jim, any parting words?
No, I think you nailed it on the head, Ben. Other than, we'll summarize it here. If you've gotten this far, rewind as many times as you may have to. Put yourself in the role as you're working the night shift as a clerk at this particular gas station. And as Ben said, what is something that should have been an anomaly to you, that stood out, that maybe would have prompted you to take some sort of action that maybe would have altered this outcome? Albeit it could have been a more positive
Mm.
or It could have maybe escalated to an 8. We won't know. It would depend on how we
Mm,
encountered it. But there is still an action that could have been taken that could have more than likely have changed this scenario. So we would like to hear your feedback, hear your comments, take this out, work yourself through your different roles in your day to day after doing this little assignment that we have given you, and come back and chat with us. And if you'd like to learn more, come back to learn the rest of the letters. And more so, reach out, contact Ben or I. We're more than open, and we'll let you know when the next polar course comes up, and we can teach you how to polar profile like a professional. But we're going to give you some tips of the skill set now, just so you can just see little nuances that can make a huge difference and impact in your day-to-day activities.
absolutely. And with that in mind, guys, thank you for your time, your interest, and the electrical conductivity of your grey matter. We'll see you very soon for another podcast episode, and be sure to follow along with the Professional Skill Set playlist. It will be an ever expanding thing. And with that in mind, see you next time.
Bye, everybody.